Undeniably dairy. That's a phrase termed by Midwest Dairy Council. One of the questions that people ask is, why do people drink cow's milk? And as a dietitian, I get that question asked a lot. Well, if you go to their website, they have great answers to what's the importance of dairy and incorporating in your life. I'm going to give you a quick snippet. Understanding, first of all, that dairy has been a beverage of choice over not just hundreds of years, but thousands of years, not just in Western civilization, but around the world. It's packed with 9 essential nutrients that's good for not just our kiddos, but for us as adults as well. And even considering where it comes from our cows. Did you know that cows are our natural recyclers? They have the ability to eat parts of the plants and foods that our body as humans cannot eat or ingest. They take those food products and they transform those foods into nutrients, in which comes from our milk and creates high quality proteins for us. So simply said, cows can turn things we can't eat into nutritious things we can. Learn more about what undeniably dairy means and learn about some of the other research evidence-based information that they have on their website. Connect with their farmers, connect with their stories. Go to dairygood.com. Okay, everyone, welcome to the Dietitian Against Diets podcast show. I have with me Alex Ward, the owner of Food Peddler. It's a St. Louis-owned company that's focused on food servery delivery, but we're utilizing bicycles to get our food from our restaurants to our residential clients, which is pretty unique. And I also have with me we call him the delivery guy or the delivery food peddler, Joshua Norris.
Thanks.
He's actually one of the people that are part of the footwork, no pun intended, that does the job. So I want to welcome both you gentlemen to the podcast show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rashonda.
Yes, and thank you for coming today. And so I actually know Joshua. Not Joshua. You're Josh. Alice. We met about 6 months ago.
Yes.
He was actually behind the scenes when helping me to kind of build some of the publicity for my book release. So we kind of met in full circle at another event.
Right.
Yeah. And so that was really created a conversation about me. What is it that you do, Alex, outside of, doing some of the publishing work? And that's when you kind of told me about the company. And so I just felt like that's something that coordinates activity, sustainability, being eco-friendly, and still being a service of the St. Louis residents. So I felt like it'd be a great opportunity to kind of see what is this food peddler thing all about.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So my question to you in the beginning is, let's just talk about how you went from working at a desk to sitting and working on a bike when it comes to the company and how it came to fruition.
Okay, so I have a marketing background, and in spring 2018, I had an internship at Fleischmann Hillard.
Okay.
It's a global PR agency. Really incredible experience. I really enjoyed it, but it was very strenuous, stressful, but still rewarding.
Okay.
So that lasted for 5 months, and that's over in downtown, really tall building, and at the bottom of the building is Pickles Deli.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I grabbed lunch there quite a few times. And one time I saw a food peddler
Okay.
pulling up.
Was it your first time seeing this? Were you like, what is this? Or
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
I saw one guy in Pickles Deli, and then another guy, might have been the same guy, outside biking around.
okay.
Yeah, and out on the desk was a card. I took the card, and basically I thought that food peddler would just be a fun thing to do for a few months after the internship.
Okay.
And then I, do something fun over the summer, kind of
So it was
de-stress
just
a
meant
little
to
bit.
be just recreational, something to do on the side,
Yes.
something different. Okay.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and I plan to do it for just 2 or 3 months. I had told Tim, the former owner of Food Peddler, that,
Okay.
and I really enjoyed it. All right, I applied, interviewed, got the position after my internship at Fleischmann, and I really enjoyed it. Did it. I was actually still living in Webster at the time, so I drove into Central West End every day.
So it was
the-
this one. I guess it started in Central West End because I know the way you guys work, or the way you're able to do this, is that you cater to certain areas, and that way it just logistically just what makes sense, you know. So was Central West End like one of the first founding places where Food Peddler started?
Yes,
Okay.
Food Peddler started in Central West End. At the time that I started in Food Peddler, just as a delivery guy, it was Central West End and downtown, which it is currently today.
Okay. And
Um,
then went from I want to go to school for marketing to now I'm going to own my own business and
yeah,
take over the Food Peddler
right. Yeah,
company,
I mean,
correct?
I always kind of knew I wanted to own my own business.
Mhm.
At least, towards the end of college to after college, I always had the thought, and I actually had left Food Peddler at the end of that summer, and I started just as a contractor position at New Balance Online,
Okay.
and that was another desk job, not as rewarding as Fleischman. Not, I mean,
It was just something to
it was just
buy
something to make,
time and
yeah,
make a couple
exactly,
dollars.
until I
Yeah.
found the next thing. But I ran into Tim, once again, former owner of Food Peddler.
Okay.
I ran into him just outside Shake Shack while he was doing a delivery, and I was telling him kind of what I was feeling about New Balance and how I really wasn't enjoying it. And basically, he told me really good advice. He just said like you can't do something every day that you don't like,
True.
and you can't go into work not wanting to be there. Um, so he told me that the downtown area for Food Peddler, the business had been kind of slacking a little bit,
Mhm.
and it needed to be built back up. And he was considering just giving it up completely,
Really?
that area
Okay.
completely.
So he was going to keep Food Peddler, but just like downsize it in regards
Down,
to the different locations.
yes,
Okay.
downsize, and he was planning on just having it be Central West End.
But you
Um,
decided you saw a bigger opportunity, and then you just took the reins, didn't you?
yes, yep, yeah. We met probably a week or two later. I thought about it, what he had said. Um, uh, Rewind a little bit. He basically said like I could take over downtown if I wanted to, and
Yeah.
he was offering it up to me.
Mhm.
And yeah, we met a couple weeks later and went with it. And by end of November 2018,
Okay.
I had fully taken over downtown.
So there's been about a little bit over a year that you've been, this area is where you've been focused, where you've acquired.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now,
Mhm.
so was it you by yourself, or how did you start bringing in more people into the business? 'Cause I know if only you're one person, then it kind of
Yeah.
limits your ability to kind of be in different places.
Right. So yeah, the way that Tim and I had discussed it is we had decided that we would each have our own teams. So I hired some guys. I At one point I only had two or three
Okay.
delivery guys on for downtown. Um, and let's see, Josh came in. Josh came in around May.
Yeah, around May
Yeah.
of last year.
Okay.
Yes, around May of last year.
Now, Josh, when I saw you as well that evening when I was saw Alex on the
Yeah.
second round, and when you told me you were going to not drivers,
Peddlers.
peddlers. Let's
Peddlers.
change the language. You told me one thing. It was funny. I kind of chuckled in the background. You're like, well, I know I need to start working out and getting in shape, so I just felt like this was a good 2-in-1.
Yeah.
It was that one. Well, I don't say one of the reasons, but I'm sure that's like in the back of your mind, like just a component of just movement. I mean, to me, that would be a good way to just kind of work and work out, you know?
Yeah.
Yes. If we want to get deep about it, as we ponder work-life balance, making my life and work sometimes integrated and also sometimes compartmentalized. And I think exercise and like healthy habits should work hand in hand. Like your job shouldn't be so stressful that you're just always looking for that food release.
True.
And you shouldn't always be out of balance that you have to like squeeze in a workout late at night. You should try to find a way to make these things work together. Because when we all met the other night at that I guess it was in a comedy club, but at that comedy show,
Yes.
that What I had said was, I'm glad that I was pedaling over the winter. Otherwise, these pounds really would have hopped on me. I'm glad, so even though you still need great workouts and great routines, you need to make things part of your life. And making active movement should be part of your life. If there's that analogy between sitting is the next smoking, you'll sit at a desk and all of a sudden, and you may even buy a stand-up desk, and then you'll pull a chair up.
But you're not
And then, you're just going to start creeping away at your trying to make activity part of your life, but you need to really make it a part of your life.
Yes. Is that one of the, I mean, because it got to be a common, like, bigger picture as to how you even, like, build your employee base. Like, what are their needs? What are they looking for? What are you looking for? And it seems like, I mean, this kind of goes hand in hand with just being active, or even just, and another thing too, like when you're pedaling, when you're transferring food, it reminds me of, like, remember the milkman, like, your milkman,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And
Right.
so it's
Kind of the
it's a
neighborhood.
person to person connection that you're having. You're doing the work to get the food. I mean, it's just like a beauty and, like, the work that's put behind it to create the service. And I think that says a lot too, because, one question I'll ask later is, like, what stands out? And one thing I can say is that you're just not behind this vehicle, just mobile, just moving food. You're actually working to bring this food to the customers.
Right.
Yeah, it's somewhat of a release of exerting yourself, of putting this intentional fitness, this goal accomplishment into your life.
Intentional, I like that part. Yeah.
Yeah. That otherwise, it's not something that comes naturally. I mean, the reason I'm able to do Food Peddler is because I feel that Food Peddler integrated into my life makes me a better employee at my normal job, so that when I'm back at work, I don't have presenteeism. I'm just not just sitting there counting the hours. I'm there working because, I guess I have a sense of a sense of freedom. Like, I feel good about where I'm at because, like, there's some intentionality in it.
And
I like that.
And I'm sure getting the endorphins from exercise and everything probably helps.
Oh, yeah.
Helps keep your mind sharp.
Oh,
the
yes.
second half of the day at work.
Yeah, because
your day job.
Yeah, you don't suffer that burnout,
Yeah.
in which, like, you're tired and you don't want to put any more effort into it. And so, yeah, you get that good feeling. You're
Right.
like, I can do another 45, or I can make this till the end of the day more productive. Type of thought.
Yeah. So I'm assuming, like, you're looking for, when you're deciding who's going to represent Food Peddler, you're looking at their personality. You're looking at, is this something that, they are also benefiting with, because they're going to perform their best if they feel, like I say, if you're in a good environment, it's going to show.
Right.
And so that's one thing we're going to talk about too, is the customer service. Like, how would you say Food Peddler stands above some of the more common food delivery services like Grubhub, Uber Eats, and what are some of the other popular, Dash Doors, Postmates? Like, what if someone were to decide, and they live in one of these areas that you serve, like, what would it be that they would make them want to choose Food Peddler over some of the other
Sure.
companies?
Yeah. When I'm interviewing people to be in Food Peddler to deliver, I do look and make sure they're friendly, because we really put a huge emphasis on our friendliness. We're always hospitable, and we actually care to be there and deliver to our fans. And we have a lot of recurring fans that...
I like you call them fans.
Yeah, we call them
Fans
fans.
means they like you.
Yep.
Yeah, 'cause you get to know someone pretty well. You see them again and again.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, you develop a rapport. Everybody's at work. We might as well be nice to each other.
Right.
And also, I guess I want to say, like, yeah, when I first started working for Alex, it's just because I like working. Like, I like working. I just picked up another job.
Yeah,
I
Josh
like
has
working.
3 jobs.
Okay.
I like working, so all this hindsight. So I try to make activity part of my life, but a little bit of this is like hindsight thought, like, oh, I'm a Food Peddler, and it's making my life more balanced, and I find that I'm a better employee. So when I first I was like, there was an opportunity to pedal for Alex, and I was like, I think I just kind of want to take another job because
You like to work.
I like to work. It's kind of fun. Like, you get a different experience, and you apply it to other parts of your life. So anyway, I just wanted to clarify. Yeah, when Alex I didn't sit down with Alex and say, Alex, I've got this really complicated theory about work-life balance. I think this is going to work. It was like, I like to work, Alex. You got a job for me.
You kind of just squeeze yourself in there. So for a while there, Josh, well, it's still kind of going, but there was a pretty big group that was eating lunch together at T-Rex, the co-working
Yeah.
space we work out of. And it was like a Spanish lunch.
Yeah. I just put together a group of friends called Spanish Lunch. We don't speak
Yeah.
Spanish anymore.
No.
We lost our native speakers. But the point was like, if you can squeeze in half an hour a week to work on Spanish, maybe after a year
Oh.
you can get better at Spanish,
Okay.
right?
I like
And,
that concept.
So like, it's okay. I wouldn't dare speak Spanish now. But nonetheless, like one of the main goals of it was just to provide consistency in our work lives.
Right.
So that was an intentional goal. Was like no matter what happens in each other's lives, you can always count on us being there. And none of us are coworkers, or like we're the one of those that like have any type of tied employment. So it's like a relaxed
you wanna be
relationship
there.
of accountability. No matter what happens, you're gonna we'll be here. I'll be here every Wednesday. And part of it because somebody did that for me. There was a Wednesday night. So I'm really into bluegrass music, and so there was a Monday night, and some people said, Josh, as long as you come, we'll always be here for you, and we'll teach you how to play the banjo. And like that moment of somebody reaching out to me and saying, no matter what goes on with you, I'll be here.
Yeah.
I was like, I can do that. I can do that for somebody else. I can pay it forward. So hey, no matter what, Wednesday at noon, like we will be there.
Right.
And
having
that's how you
lunch.
guys cross paths.
Yeah. That's how we crossed bounds.
Yeah, and I met Josh. I feel like it was a few weeks of just the casual lunch thing, and then I was talking about Food Peddler, just basically explaining the concept, what we do, and then Josh was like, "I think I'll do that."
Right. Yeah.
and I was like, I guess I could hire him. That would be easy.
Yeah, I feel like at the beginning I had to like talk you into it. You're like, well, I don't know, I don't know if you're ready. And I was like, Alex, come on.
He said he didn't know. if
Yeah,
you're-
I feel like I had to kind of talk him into it, like cajole him. Like, I can do this, Alex. It's all right.
Yeah.
Give me a try.
Yeah.
Right.
And how long have you been with Food Peddler?
Just short of a year.
Oh,
then.
you came in May.
Yeah, about May.
So this will be your second spring or summer
Yes.
that you'll be out
Yeah,
there.
the summer's so enjoyable.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. The winter. I mean, the winter is a necessary evil, but spring, summer, fall. It's such a good job to have
Yeah.
during that time.
So give me some of your strategies on, especially when, you're basically trying to connect, you're working with businesses and customers. So,
Yes.
you have two different phases of building that trust and building that cohesive relationship, you
Right.
know? And I know to me, like, I'd like that it's local. And when it's local, you're seeing the same people over and over again type of thing. Versus some of the other companies, you never know who's going to be knocking at your door. They don't represent. There's no tie into
Right.
who they're coming from, like the DoorDashes or the Uber Eats. Nothing against those companies, great companies.
Right.
But with you guys, like you stay in the area. You know what I mean? So that means you have to have some sort of connection within that area outside of just sending food to where it makes it more of like a community feel. That's why I say it's kind of like the milkman feel,
Yeah.
you know? So kind of tell me your strategies on how what do you see where are you feeling the need between the local companies, restaurants that are around? Because you have, I know within your Central West End locations, 21, how many?
Right now it's 15.
Oh,
we,
okay,
we
15.
unfortunately lost one recently.
Okay.
They just went out, just closed. But
Unfortunately, yeah. So as you're trying to, create this space between the consumers and the restaurant end, like what are your strategies to build that trust between both parties?
yeah, well, I mean, we build a rapport with both our fans and the restaurants. I mean, the guys, especially, I'd say I like to call out Pickles Deli. The guys at Pickles Deli, love just having a quick small talk conversation with them when I get
Okay.
there. Like, hey, how's it going? Tim and Sean, and
So you have conversations with
yeah.
while you're at work. It's not just, I'm just going to pick it up and drop it off. It's
Exactly.
actually
Yeah.
like,
I mean,
hey.
while we're waiting for the food, there's just a small bit of downtime just to make a good impression.
Yeah.
And continue making that good impression with them.
And that's what I was gonna say. It is because you're building like a brand with the restaurants. Because if they're, let's say you have two other food peddlers, and you got the same 4 food peddlers that's cycling through the same restaurants, like
Right.
they see that name, it creates a brand. Versus some of the other like larger companies, it's a random person every time.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So you're building, like, I just think just having I think there's power in small numbers and how you're strategic in having in this location, then you have one in this location, you have one in that location, because you can build small pockets of communities within that.
Yeah, and plus with just with promotion anyway, or just promotion on social media, having a smaller pocket area and a finite number of restaurants that we serve, we can add that much more value for them, and just doing
Because I think that they're also,
personalized posts.
I think because they're also they're looking for fans as well. They're looking for people to be excited about their
Right.
restaurants. Because it not only it makes not only does it make their day better, but if the social media aspect, the word of mouth aspect, that infectious enjoyment that occurs after people have a great time together. Not something that's intentional. It's just like you almost couldn't even try to hide enthusiasm on after someone's had a good interaction with somebody
That
else.
is very true.
Yeah.
And so, that's I like that idea. The power of small numbers.
Yeah.
Because you can have a genuine functional relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be all love, but it's not all corporate.
And I think that when it's smaller like that, you create that familiarity where people feel safe in using you, because they know
Yeah.
who they're going to
Oh
get.
yeah.
Definitely.
And if they know who they're going to get, they're going to continue. I mean, if they're not going to, that's going to be a dividing factor between them picking you versus some other larger company,
Right.
because they know Josh is going to be probably most likely going to be there, Alex or whomever.
Yeah.
Like, they know. And I mean,
Yeah.
to me, if I knew like that person that would come each time, I would give them bigger tips. I would go to whoever they refer me to as far as other restaurants. You may say, hey, there's some other restaurants that also serve.
Oh,
Then
yes.
like you can be a referral system to those
Oh, yeah.
particular, restaurants. You're an advocate for them,
I know.
It's just so many things I see as far as connections that that you guys can have the potential to provide versus some of the other companies.
Yeah, and for some people, for some of our fans, we may be the first experience they have with that restaurant. Like, they may have never been in Pickles Deli before in the restaurant, and if we leave a bad impression, they may carry that
Yeah.
over to Pickles Deli and say, I had a bad experience with both companies, but
Right.
it's
Let's
still,
see if we can remember all the other restaurants downtown.
yeah.
So, because Blondie's has, so off the top of my head, Blondie's has great coffee, very
They
good
do.
sandwiches. Rosalita's actually, I like their Mexican food because the last time I had a platter there, they always include like something sweet on that plate. So you
Oh.
get the spiciness and the saltiness of
Yeah.
the Mexican food and a little bit of
Look,
sweetness.
you're already selling them. There
Like,
you
yeah.
go.
The corn mesita.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like you're like mobile waiters.
Because
Right.
you get to know these people, and you're like, you know what? I see. I think Megan is the name of the bartender at Rosalita's.
Yep,
I
Megan.
see her 3-4 times a week, sometimes more than once a day. And it's like, you know what? I might as well try your product. I might as well pay for it because you see me a bunch. And also it helps her and I's interaction. Because I got to bug her when she's probably busy. I got to pick up the phone and call her and say, "Hey, I got an order for you." I got to show up when
Right.
she's got a bar of 15 people, and I need her to give me the food on time. So it's
Business
worth
to business.
trying out her product. It's worth getting to know her, so that if I feel I'm really pressed for time, she knows I'm serious about it, and I'm not just pulling her chain like I need to get this order done.
Yeah.
So let's see, Blondie's, Rosalita's,
Arista Gourmet.
Arista
really,
Gourmet.
really good paninis.
Oh yes,
I love
See,
their
look how-
chicken club panini.
we were just talking about their owner operator. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Corey.
Corey. Yes.
Yeah.
And
His
so
wife-
you're also building rapport with the restaurant owners too, which it's you're going to stand out when you put in an order. They see food peddler, they're going to make sure that they are on point.
Yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
like it's so many ways. It's all to me. All I see is through this as far as the business concept is relationship building.
And
Oh,
particularly,
certainly.
like Asia Gourmet, their foods are usually very saucy because it's Chinese food, and they have worked with us to like make better or to be very good at packing food because they know we're trying to deliver good food.
Yep.
They obviously want their food to come across well. Asia Gourmet, they've been around for 45 years. Not at that location, obviously, but they've been in business for 45 years.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
Wow.
I used my job before this one. My job before this one was waiting tables. I just learned to love to shoot the breeze with people.
And people appreciate that.
Yeah.
People do. They really do.
BLTs, amazing tacos.
Yeah.
They're really
Yeah.
good.
They have a really cool space
Yes,
too.
they do. Flannery's.
Flannery's, Lucas Park.
I haven't had Flannery's yet, so
They ought to give you guys some discounts for.
Oh, for
they see us enough. And again, it's like I feel like you kind of feel friendly with them. Lucas
Yeah.
Park,
Yep.
very nice looking restaurant. I haven't
Yeah.
had that either, but I know it's like it's a legit wait staff there. I know you walk in and it's like,
They're on point.
press short,
Yep.
Right.
press shirts,
Yep.
clean.
They have a good reputation of
And
this
that.
ain't no franchise show there.
yeah. Well, and Josh only works downtown, but we have
Right.
plenty of great restaurants too in Central West End.
Yeah. So right now, just for clarification, especially for the listeners and
Yes.
viewers, you guys, your pockets right now is Central West End and downtown.
Yes.
Okay.
And I realized I didn't really continue my story with how I got to this point. Long story short, after I operated downtown for about 6 months or so,
Okay.
6-7 months, Tim just pulled me aside and he just said he kind of was losing steam with the business, and he has a really cool business with his wife called Perennial City, and they do residential compostables pickup.
Okay.
So they do weekly pickups with a ton of different clients. Basically, their clients just leave this big green plastic bin out. They put their compostable fruit and different
just pick
foods
'em up
in there.
and-
Yep, they pick
Yep.
them up, pick it up, and then they have an urban farm in
Okay.
North City.
Okay.
But
So you-
yes, in July of last year, Tim approached me about the idea of taking over the rest of the business.
Okay.
And I said yes.
So as of July, so I know you started in December 2018, or was it December 2018?
It was like the last week of November.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you took over the company in July 2019.
19, yes.
Okay. And then you came on board May 2019.
Yes.
Yeah. So you came on board before it became all of
Yes.
Alex's. Okay.
Yep. that's
Got the
correct.
timeline down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Well,
got it.
Congratulations, business owner.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
And
very
so,
exciting.
It's important to like know your story, because you just never know how, life is interesting how things how paths cross, and like what puts a flame in you,
Right.
and then you recognize that may be a direction to explore, but you never know until you explore it, and then even going into some of the spaces where you're crossing different people that you never know how, you had no idea that this would be like a partnership in regards to you guys working together,
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I got a question for you. So I know, like, on the business end, you're connecting food with people. You're the messenger, right? So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't control, what people order, or you're
Right,
not there
right.
to tell them, what's better for them. That's not your job, nor do you want to do that. But kind of tell me, like, when it comes to yourself personally, like, how do you look at just when it comes to you're fueling yourself now, right? Because you're not using gas, you're using gas as far as what you eat to be able to be out there,
Right.
especially when it gets warm out there and you're sweating and
Oh, yeah.
you're getting drained. So just kind of speak upon how you connect, like just how your health is connected to what you do every day on the bike.
So me personally, I do eat healthy to keep myself nice and energized.
It's kind of like you have
especially-
to.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, I feel like, I don't eat really junk food because that makes me crash, and definitely want to keep my performance up for biking. I've actually kind of perfected this oatmeal that I eat every morning.
Okay.
It's like maybe a cup of oatmeal, then I add oat milk, and then I mix in a scoop of Greek yogurt, and then this this green juice powder.
Okay.
It's a little bit of caffeine, but it's like superfood powder,
Okay.
and then a scoop of almond butter. And
you got this
some
concoction
fruit.
going
Yeah,
on.
huge concoction. It's delicious, and
can
it makes
tell
me
by
feel
your
really
smile.
good. Yeah, makes me super energized in the morning.
Yeah. But like that's important to just, when you think about performance, it's not just our body performance, but
Yeah.
it's our personality, our
Right.
getting able to give away positive energy because we're in a clearer mindset. You're in better moods when you're fueling your body.
Definitely.
So like I know like that's something that sometimes people don't consider, but it's a part of it. What is your food of choice when it comes to during the busy
my
season?
food of choice, and I'll be more honest, or not more honest, like
Because
you were
clearly
lying.
Alex is not telling the truth.
You don't see him back at the office, right? For me, actually, I'm still in my growing relationship with food. So I often will
I
think
like
about
that.
like in high school, but I would slam 6 giant cookies at lunch, and I'd have enough. Somehow, I'd have enough energy to keep going through the day, go to football practice, and then be back home at 8 o'clock. But also, like in that maturing relationship, was that it was also sport related. I was in a sport that mass was desired. And so even taking that through collegiate sports, I played at the University of Illinois. So like you're working out 6 times a week intensely, and you got to maintain
Yes.
size, and so
Yes.
you're just eating whatever as much. And so coming down out of that, it's a continual process of maturing my relationship with food. Because yeah, it used to be I could just eat whatever I wanted, and even to the point I developed a wonderful comfort with eating a bunch. Um, so I mean nowadays, so I'm probably still focusing on portion control
Uh-huh.
because I still will like love to eat.
Yeah.
So portion control is something that's where I'm at. So I'm not, so maybe like in terms of diet, I've had some angels in my life who have helped me get control of my food through like having like you know limitations like certainly like incorporating raw foods, viewing those as acceptable eating options, not as like just accessories on a plate.
Well, I like how you said your maturing relationship with food. That's a phrase I would say I've never heard that being said like that. But it is a maturation thing, because just like anything in life, you mature in every step that you make moving forward. So when it comes to your relationship with food, like how are you interacting with it? How you recognize its source, its purpose? How are you finding your balance? I think that's important. It's important on a functional level, but it's also important on an emotional level. And I know as what you probably find when you're on that bike and you're going up that hill
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
with food, or you have a lot going on at one time, and like I'm sure you recognize the difference. Let's say if you were to back in the day slam those 6 cookies versus having something that's more whole versus like
Oh yeah.
it's clear that you probably know the difference in what your body's telling you. And I think that's huge in a way to you guys can speak upon that because your work is manual work. And you know
Yes.
the difference when you're eating the super duper oatmeal bowl versus
Right.
having a candy bar.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Certainly.
Yeah. So, incorporate, the nutrition component, it's an ongoing process for everyone. But, I know it's important, like say for the business end, but, speaking upon how it's important on the personal end too. And it's not just, having a functional formula, but it's also recognizing how you're connecting with it, And I'm sure so from your end, when you're delivering foods to people, I mean, do you hear, everyone, when people are guilty, they make comments about themselves, or they'll say, oh, I know I shouldn't be ordering this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Like, do you guys ever come across any of those people, especially if they start getting more personable with you?
There was a circumstance. It was just a general conversation about someone's self-perception in relationship to food. If I could remember how I handled it, I
Was
may
a
have.
fan? You were
Yeah.
dropping off food?
Yeah, I was dropping off food. They were. I think they were worried about the amount that they were eating.
Yeah.
No, I guess I couldn't say I did not respond in a negative aspect. I may have parted on on a theological note, like saying, doesn't mean you're not blessed. That may have been like how
You just steer it a different direction.
yeah, because I mean, because that's the downside. Like, I want to sell you food. Like,
'Cause you
I'm
guys
happy
may
you're
be-
ordering food. I'm like,
Right.
restaurants are glad you're ordering food.
Yeah.
You're obviously you're upset about the amount that you're eating.
Because you guys
I
are in
may
a
not be the-
fire. Like you're the messenger. Sometimes
Yeah.
the messenger can get the brunt. And I'm not saying you're gonna get negative heat or whatever, but like sometimes there is that moment where you're not sure like how to address that because you want to
Right.
keep them as clients, but you don't want them. You're not there to
Right.
give them a teaching lesson.
And also, yeah, I'm not, how do I relate to, how do I relate to this person who I do kind of, I kind of know them, but it's still a very transactional relationship. How do I give them a maybe a deep personal advice, or this is that calling moment in which you need to see this is a moment of change in your life.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, is this on me to deliver this message that perhaps you need to do some soul searching,
Sure.
find yourself a new way.
Well, no telling what kind
You
of
know,
different. You're gonna always
I don't know.
in the service of working with people. You're gonna always interact with different blindsided moments.
Yeah,
So I just
good
think
point.
that as long as your role is to be neutral and to provide a service, and if they feel it in them to speak with you, then sometimes it's good to listen. 'Cause sometimes
Yeah.
people just want to be heard. That's what I find. So I got a question for you. So
Okay.
I want you to tell me you tell me what people should expect when it comes to your service and the interaction and engagement, and also on the restaurant side.
Yeah.
What should people not expect?
What should people not expect? That was the question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I hope this goes without saying. I mean, they should not expect us to be rude or short with them.
Okay, that's good, because again, this is what helps you to stand. That's what
Yeah,
defines
absolutely.
you. What you're not as well.
Right. Let me think on that for a second.
So along those lines, they shouldn't expect us to be disposable. I'm not just a delivery driver. I'm not just some high school dropout or some druggie, or just I'm
Quality
a person,
people, yeah, they
I'm a
should-
quality person. I'd love to work hard, and you just happen to see what my lunchtime job is. I'm not someone that you don't have to pay attention to me in the elevator, but it's okay to, if I should say something to you, it's okay to engage me in a conversation. I'm not disposable.
I like that.
So something like that. We're quality people.
Yeah. It's a small thing, but it matters compared to some of our competitors. They should not expect any hidden fees. I won't name the business, but Tim, the former owner of Food Peddler, he's still kind of in the picture, kind of an advisory role. He writes blog posts, but in a
Okay.
recent blog post a little bit ago, he did a small case study on a competitor, and I think he entered in a discount code, which gave him $4 off the order or something. But then the category that said taxes and fees went up, and then it doesn't tell you what the fees are.
Yes.
And I mean, we're very upfront with what you're paying. Our fans pay just the tip, delivery fee, tax, and cost of the food, and we're never gonna trick them into paying some ambiguous fee.
Yeah. Now I know you guys have an app. So is the app similar? When I think of the app and these type of services, it's kind of like your app, your platform that connects the business owner to the customers, right? But
Yes.
you're the person in the middle that's transporting things. So in your app, do they have they know who's bringing their foods? Is a picture, or is it something that where it's for safety I think Lyft and
I
Uber,
see what you're saying.
Airbnb, it has a profile of the people that they're going to be engaging with back and forth, so they kind of can know who they're to expect at the door.
That would be really cool if we had that. I would like that definitely for the safety and personalization of it. We don't have that though. They just that may be something for the future when we have fully customized software. Right now, it's just a sort of a template that we subscribe to, like a software provider, but they give us a template.
Yes, he's working with what they provide.
Yes, exactly. And the customization just isn't to that level yet.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Honestly, since it's been in your hands, it hasn't even been a full year. So, I'm sure just what you guys, everything comes as your business grows,
Yes.
and all, especially when you start to get a lot of food peddlers, then some of that may become a necessity. But, I really feel like what you guys have just lifting off right now is pretty cool. And I feel like as we're talking about the community feeling, building these relationships, we at least know the employees that work for Food Peddler are real people, and
Right.
they're here to
Real
have,
people.
not just drop off some food at your door, but also to kind of get to know who you are, and vice versa, So I think that's I think that to me that's what stands out.
Yeah, and when I'm communicating with a fan, Doesn't happen every delivery, but sometimes if there's an issue, like the food is running behind or something, we do just text communication. But I usually do add that personalization to it, and I'll say like Josh will be on his way soon, or Theo or Mark.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So as we're not totally at a close, I want to like really kind of let people know where you guys are at. But I want to give you guys just kind of the platform to just what else do you want to speak upon about the company that you feel would be good for potential clients and for the restaurants and audience to know.
Do you have anything right now?
I
have a few
encourage
things.
everyone to work more jobs. And
Yeah.
I think finding some time in your life to pick up some food peddler time is like a good time. Again, I work as a full time. Work a full time job as a chemist. It's intellectual work, and I find that I am very productive at work because I can let my mind be at rest and work. And so that when I'm back in the office running experiments or sitting in the office typing emails, like I'm productive. So I hope maybe a message to all the employers out there. Let your employees get other jobs and leave their desk.
Yeah.
Don't make them
Get
sit
some
at their
exercise.
desk. Yeah, have them get out and do other things.
Yeah.
So that when they're there, they're doing stuff, and don't punish them for wanting to like live.
Because I'm assuming you guys want to grow, right? There's other like potential,
absolutely.
like what are some
Yeah.
other potential areas in St. Louis that you it's on your radar?
Yeah. Well, my goal is hopefully by the end of spring to be open in the Grove.
Okay.
And the Grove, as a location, will be Forest Park, Southeast, the Grove, and Shaw.
Okay.
So that'll run.
That's all one.
Yep.
Okay.
So we could deliver from Manchester down to, I think that's Morganford or Arsenal. I think it's Arsenal. Maybe I'm not-
Even on the other side of Tower Grove Park.
Other side of
Yeah,
Tower
it's-
is Arsenal.
it's
Yeah.
Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, we could deliver that. I mean the
So
that
like
area's
all
not
up
too
in
far.
all up in the hill as well. Because
Not the hilly yet.
Okay.
That would be for the future. But
Okay.
yeah,
So
the
the
Grove.
next area is
and-
the Grove area.
Yeah, and the Loop.
Okay.
And I mean, the 5 to 10 year goal is to be in the entirety of St. Louis City, plus like Maplewood. I guess U City isn't technically the city, so plus U City, maybe Clayton, maybe Webster.
Okay. Where there's a lot of, I seem like it sounds like where there's, you want to really target the city because that's kind of where, you want to create that's more concentrated areas as far as
Yeah.
people, but there are also other areas further out the city that still has a concentrated community feel that you feel
Right.
that can be duplicated
certainly.
in those
And-
areas.
Yeah, and really good restaurants, especially if they have a kind of a restaurant district like Maplewood does.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah.
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 And
Okay.
yeah, and aside from that, actually how Rashana we met was through the Fit and Food Connection, which we have our Fit Food Peddler has a philanthropy partnership with, and we donate 50 cents for every order.
Every order.
Yes.
Wow. That's good to know. I mean, that means that you guys are paying it forward, not, as far as your services and bringing in other people and supporting other organizations. Here we go. It's about wellness. So there's a lot
Right,
of pieces to
exactly,
it that that's underlining. But I think it's great for what you guys are doing. I hope
Thank
the
you.
best for, you acquiring the business and being able to grab great people like Josh on and continue to build the business. As people are, listening and they're learning about who Food Pillar is now, some for the first time, how are they able to give us some ways in which they can find you guys, learn about you guys, connect with you guys?
All right. Well, our website is foodpeddler.com. A lot of people spell peddler wrong. It's Peddaler.
Okay.
We also are on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. If you're a LinkedIn person, we do have a LinkedIn.
Okay.
It's not very populated, but we do. And then we have a YouTube channel.
Okay.
So cover most of our bases besides really Snapchat, and I guess TikTok is a thing now.
Right.
If Gen
There's so many
if Gen
different
Zers
ones.
start using Food Peddler, we'll get into TikTok.
Yeah. Never know.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you think about some of the college and younger generations, the summertime, and it's your potential clientele could expand out.
Right.
Yeah. So, well, I again am glad that you guys had the time, especially if today is a work day, to come down and just talk about what Food Peddler stands for, and what it means. And I think that as people learn, what's your mission behind it, the footwork, pun intended, that you're putting behind it, I think it gives it a bigger cause, and it's eco-friendly. There's a sustainability factor. It's sustainability not just for, obviously emissions and using cars, but it's also sustainability for your health, because the people that are transporting the food, they're using their body.
Yes.
So it's sustainable in multiple ways. So anyone out there that's in the St. Louis area, especially in the pockets of Central West End and down there near Wash Avenue downtown, and potentially in Tower Grove area in the future, in the spring, look up Food Peddler. I actually went online to Google you guys. No, I actually Googled food delivery service in St. Louis. You guys like number 3. Like whatever I forgot what you call it as far as how you put your name inside the mix.
Yeah.
That you guys are up there. And so I was like, oh, okay. So they're not like on the 3rd or 4th page of google.com. They're on the first page.
Yeah,
so you guys are very accessible, and I think that's great when I saw that. So I want to encourage everyone out there, especially in the St. Louis area, to look these guys up. You know them personally now. And so I'm sure that there's a good percentage that you're going to see their faces if you order through Food Peddler. So thank you guys again for coming on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And that's going to wrap up our show. Rashonda Thornton, a dietitian against diets. And as you see, this platform is just not meant to talk about food and diets, because it's not about a diet, but it's about the healthy lifestyle. So bringing on companies such as this that promotes healthy living, promotes wellness, is what we're here to do. Thank you guys, and I'll talk to you next week. As I'm closing out, I want to give a shout out to this great company in St. Louis. It's called Banner Road Baking Company. If you just hear the title, that doesn't give you much information, but let me tell you what they are. First of all, they're a granola company. Their product's committed to creating positive health. And they do that through bringing in the best nutrients without compromising on flavor. Now, this company has been around for, I would say, maybe 5 or 6 years, but over the time, they have spread over to 40 different states worldwide in which they sell their products to. All of their ingredients are organic based. The oils that they use extra virgin olive oil. They minimally use their natural sweeteners. So there aren't any artificial sweeteners in there. There may be a little agave, a little honey, but they're all natural, and they don't put too much of those sweeteners in those products. They also collaborate with a lot of local companies to produce some of their ingredients. So, for example, they get their pecans from Missouri, they get their cherries from Michigan, they get their blueberries from Oregon. So not only are they making sure they provide you with the most nutrient-dense ingredients, but they also team up with other companies, organizations that are in the U.S. to bring these products to you. Learn more about their company by going to bannerroad.com or find them on Instagram at bannerroad. Great food, great ingredients, great health. Follow them, please. So another week, another interview with the Dietitian Against Diets. I look forward to talking to you next week.